also accounts for things what lies beneath them. For example, deep web and dark web. Some of you guys might be knowing, due to its capability of being extremely secure, deep web and dark web has made to facilitate a horrible crime easier than it ever was in the history of mankind. For example, if you have the money in the form of Bitcoin, you can buy or sell credit cards. You can buy drugs like methamphetamine, heroin. You can buy even human organs, not to save your loved ones, sorry, but to eat them. There are cannibalists lurking around on the deep web and dark web. You can even pay to see child getting raped and sexually abused. We say social media has given a platform to everyone. Well, you have to take into account that in that everyone, people who are criminals, rapists, pedophiles, and cannibalists are also included. For example, just to tell you how dangerous dark web is. Dark web is not only more dangerous than you think it is, dark web is more dangerous than you can think. For example, there was a recent case in which a man named Peter Scully was arrested. What he did was, he posted a video on a website named No Limits Fund. The title of the video was Daisy's Destruction. In that video, an 18-month-old girl was raped and hurt by various objects like sex toys and barbed wire. Her private areas were whipped and hot wax was poured onto them. Her private areas were later set on fire. Can you imagine? Peter Scully himself was only seen in the video when he was raping her. You see, humanity is dying, and I'm not talking about Peter Scully only. I'm talking also talking about the people who are supporting and donating and praising Peter Scully for what he was doing. And there were one or two individuals, there were thousands of people who were praising Peter Scully for doing this horrible crime. Even if we don't talk about the surface web, first I wish to conclude that the dark web and deep web are not merely corner of social media, but it accounts up to 80% of the total income. We come to the surface web. Surface web is safe? No. Porn is still accessible, isn't it? A study of Times of India showed that 90% of boys of teenage group are addicted to porn. Now, people say things like, oh, social media connects two people. But they don't care if on one side of a terminal is a 14-year-old boy and on the other side is a camper. Isn't it concerning? Further, I'm not talking about the most basic things, most basic harms of social media, that is time wasted and rise in radicalization. For example, an average Indian spends 8 hours 29 minutes on social media, screen time. Further, it leads to rise in radicalization. For example, if you like right-wing posts, then the algorithm will show you more and more and more and more and more right-wing posts. But if you like left-wing posts, then the social media will do the same. And this will further lead to political instability. I'm not taking into account like these basic ideas. I'm talking about the horrible crimes that are going on social media. Similarly, you see, China had put many restrictions on its social media. And I think it's one of the major factors which led to the increase in development and economy by China. The fact that it is 1,000 times ahead of us, the China is 1,000 times ahead of us, was because of these decisions which put several and many restrictions over the internet. Of course, social media has its own pluses. So does news, nuclear bombs. It also has its own pluses, but it has much more minuses, similar to the case of social media. Of course, it has its own pluses, but it has its much more minuses. And from my opinion, I think social media is far more dangerous than music. Just think about it. People who are 12 to 18 have seen more naked people in their life than any of the most pleasure-loving kids, pleasure-loving kids would ever had in their lifetime. Now, the highest form of sin lies on our fingertips. And people say things like, oh, what social media does is it provides us the control. Well, whether you decide to watch porn or whether you decide to do freelancing on social media, it's up to you. Okay, that sounds very good and nice and motivating on an individual scale. But this argument has no big practical implications on a large scale. And that is the reason why 90% of the boys are watching porn and not doing it. Thank you very much.